What's up? What's up? What's up? So, look, one of the greatest advantages that you can have in 2026 is this thing right here. Your ability to stay present in the moment. If you can learn how to stay present in the moment, you can learn how to stay focused. You can learn how to cut out distractions, right? Or minimize distractions. You will be able to build the body that you want. You'll be able to build the person that you want and get the lifestyle that you want. It all comes down to focus. I remember a couple days back, right? I was like, man, like getting to my goals is super fucking hard, right? I'm like, it felt almost impossible for me to get to my goals, right? That I had for myself because, my focus was split. Like it was split. I was a content creator, then I was a coach, then I was a boyfriend, then I was a son, then I was a friend. It felt like my focus was everywhere, bro. And that shit, when you feel like you're being pulled in so many different directions, your mind doesn't know. It's really hard to stay focused, right? It's really hard to stay focused on what it is that you truly want because you're getting pulled in so many different ways. It's hard to walk one path when you have to, walk down many different roads, right? So when I, started to really understand this and to really recognize this pattern that like, bro, my focus is really getting split. I'm getting pulled in so many different ways. I almost wanted to give up on my goals because it's like, I'm like, this is impossible. Like, there's no way that I can, build the physique that I want, build the money that I want, have the relationship that I want. If I'm being pulled like this, like I can't really be intentional because I'm thinking about other tasks while I'm doing my current task. Like I'd be in the gym thinking about clients. And now when I was with clients, I'd be thinking about the gym. Right? Or I'd be thinking about what my girl was doing. Then when I was with my girl, I was thinking about work. Like my focus was everywhere. I was in a place. My physical being was in one place, right? But my mind was somewhere else, right? And that's very dangerous, right? That's very dangerous because if you can never be intentional in the moment, feel the pain, right, and learn from your mistakes, then you'll keep on constantly making the same mistakes over and over and over and over again, and you won't be able to, and you'll be in this constant cycle of like you're putting in work but you feel like you're not getting anywhere, right? So one of the biggest things that I have done, to help me with my focus is in the morning, right? And when I do my push-ups and stuff in the morning, I might have to post it after a certain time, right? I'll have the timestamps and stuff on there for you guys, but I might have to do it after a different time instead of just posting it right at the time that I wake up. Because when I wake up first thing in the morning, the first thing that I do is check social media. What ends up happening is I'm already in a reactive state, right? I'm already getting anxious. Your mind is already subconsciously comparing, yourself. You don't want to start off the day like that, right? So what I've done is, let's say I wake up at 6, right? I'll still record myself doing the push-ups and stuff like that, but I won't get on social media, right, until about 9 or 10, until after I complete my workout. Why? Because you have to earn focus. You won't just wake up and be focused. It doesn't work like that. You have to earn it, okay? And you earn focus through intentional hard actions. So a way that you can force yourself to be focused is to do something hard in the morning, right? Do something hard physically in the morning, right? So that's why I tell you guys to work out as soon as you wake up. Because if you work out as soon as you wake up, your body forces you, right, to focus on the weight that you're lifting, to moving that load, because it understands that it's in danger mode, right? So let's say that I'm doing 100-pound dumbbells, right? If you don't focus on what you're doing, you can tear your chest, right? You can blow out your shoulder. You can have the weight fall on your neck. It's when you're in the gym, I'm not gonna lie, there's a high possibility that you can get hurt if you're not lifting correctly and shit like that. So your brain understands danger, right? It's like danger. So what I do is, I go into the gym and I intentionally lift heavy, right? And I more than likely, I'm not listening to any music, and I'm really focusing on what I'm doing, right? Like today, when I was doing the cable flies, I said, okay, look, this is what I'm about to do. I'm about to grab the handles one at a time. I'm going to squeeze, I'm going to squeeze my forearms once I grab the the handle, so that I can start bringing that blood to the forearms, and then get it to the chest. I'm going to put my one foot in front of the other. I'm going to stand up straight, retract my shoulders back, and then I'm going to squeeze with every single rep. And when you have that type of focus in the gym, and you really push yourself to failure, what happens is your brain has to focus on what you're doing. It has no choice. You can't half-ass, or you cannot focus. You can't lift heavy, right, and half-ass do it. You can't lift heavy and not be focused on it. Your body's going to force you to. So I go my whole workout doing that, and I lift with extreme intensity. You guys ever work out? You ever work out so hard one time that music doesn't even work? Like, you ever worked out so hard that actually listening to music is irritating? Like, you need to focus. That's how hard I usually lift. And it's not for physique purposes. It's for, I need to get that focus right in the gym, and then I will carry it. Then I will carry it to, business, clients, calls, content, all that kind of stuff. I use the workout, right? Or I use doing something hard, right, to force me to focus, and then I carry it on through the rest of the day. Because as soon as I leave the gym, I'm so focused, and I'm so, locked in from, just doing that hard ass workout. I can take that version of myself, and I can take it to of course, my business. I can take it to, having intentional time with my girl, all that good stuff. Okay. Now, let's just say that you can't go to the gym, due to whatever reasons. Do this. Okay. Do this. Sit in silence and stare at the wall for 10 minutes, right? And examine your thoughts while you're sitting there doing nothing. I know it sounds crazy, but what it does is, when you have to create an environment where the default setting is discipline and focus. So you're going to stare at a wall or something like that. You're going to stare at a blank wall, right? And you're going to stare at it for 10 minutes. You're going to set a timer for 10 minutes, and you're going to just sit there, right, and stare at the wall, and you're going to focus, and you're going to examine your thoughts while you sit there and focus at staring at the wall. And you'll notice that when you do this, you'll notice a variety of things. You'll notice how you actually talk to yourself. A lot of people avoid silence and avoid actually listening to their thoughts, because that's actually how you feel about yourself. People can be loudmouth all they want and be like, yeah, I'm confident, I don't fear shit, blah, blah, blah. They can do all that kind of stuff. But when you sit in silence by yourself, right, that's actually how you feel about yourself. And you actually are examining your self-talk. And I want you to actually examine it. Is your self-talk to yourself reassuring? Like, okay, I got today I'm gonna crush it. this is about to be a great day. I'm about to make connections. I'm about to be successful. Or is it, oh, fuck, I gotta get to work. Fuck, I think I'm about to be late. Oh, fuck, I have this to do. Look, your thoughts will reveal how you're actually feeling about yourself. And then once you start noticing, right? Once you start noticing and examining your thoughts, then you can be like, okay, no wonder I'm so anxious all the time, so worried. You have to calm yourself down, right? So you focus in on your thoughts, right? And then you override it. You override it with positive self-talk, okay? You override it with reassuring self-positive talk, or you go down and do the push-ups, and then what's going to end up happening is you're going to be able to no negative feelings about yourself, or no negative attitude, can actually be present when you're doing something physical, like super hard. So if you were to, notice that you're really anxious, and you start knocking out, and you knocked out 100 push-ups straight, you wouldn't feel anxious no more. You wouldn't feel anxious. That's one of the cheat codes of life. Okay. So, but yeah, being able to examine your thoughts and, understand, that they call it, examining your mental witness. Yeah, examining your mental witness, right? Car almost backed into me. Examining your mental witness. And just sitting back and witnessing, how you speak to yourself. And a lot of people don't do that, right? So, that's one of the greatest advantages that you can have in 2026 is the ability to be able to examine your thoughts, right? And also be able to stay so focused, right? And intentional and present in the moment. How many people, just really think about it. This is what I want you to do. I want you to go to the gym today, right? Or go to work. And I want you to really look at how many people are distracted by their phone. Like in between sets, they're texting people. in between sets, they're in between sets, they're on social media or scrolling. I want you to look at your significant other and watch how they scroll. I want you to watch how people at work, when they're not working, they're scrolling on social media, right? And they're heavily distracting themselves, right? And that's the problem. If you always distracting yourself because you're bored, what's going to end up happening what's happening is you're robbing yourself of the focus that's needed to achieve anything that you want. And I know this shit is very hard to do, because when you're bored, you want to fill in the blank spaces. You want to fill in the blank areas with something to do so that you don't feel awkward. I get it. But you have to lean into that, that discomfort of being awkward, right? And you have to lean into that boringness to be able to cultivate focus and to cultivate being intentional in the moment. Because a lot of you guys don't understand, because you want constant stimulation, which I get. We're human beings. I'm not judging. I really am not. But a lot of you guys don't understand that life is actually pretty boring. A lot of people do the same things every single day. Like, pretty much, what I'm going to do every single day. I'm going to work out, shoot content, do all this kind of stuff. Life is pretty boring, right? Life is actually pretty boring. People show the highlights of their life on Instagram, but that's like, maybe 5% of their actual life. You don't see them going to work. You don't see them, studying. You don't see them going to the gym. Well, you don't see them. Well, you might see them do that sometimes, but you don't see all the boring stuff. They don't show that. They show the exciting highlights. So now you think that you have to have exciting highlights all the time in your life, and that's not the case. Life is really boring. So you have to lean into that. And the process of success is actually really boring too. That's why a lot of people don't want success, because it's actually a very boring process. If you were to eat the same foods, pretty much do the same workouts all the time, hit the same amount of steps, for a long duration of time, you would be in shape, right? You probably wouldn't be stage lean or nothing like that, or, super crazy in shape, right? But a lot of you guys are not looking to be crazy in shape. You just want to look better with your shirt off, feel better in your clothes, be more attractive to your wife or your girlfriend. And, you want to look like you're fit, right? And that doesn't take that much, to be honest. To someone like myself, that doesn't take that much. So, I say that to say, if you guys can cultivate that and you can get that being present in the moment, you guys will crush it. So what I want you to do, an actual step that I want you to do today, is I want you to be present. The next person that you talk to, because this is something that I struggle with too. What I like to do is, when people are talking to me, I like to jump from topic to topic, right? And I don't really let the person talk. I kind of cut them off, right? And that shows that I'm not listening. I'm just trying to advance my agenda and talk about what I want to talk about. What I want you to do today is I want you to, find someone. I want you to find someone, or not even find someone. This next time you have a conversation, I just want you to sit back, talk to the person, and I just want you to ask them questions. And if they ask you a question, of course, answer it. But I really want you to focus on what they're saying. Focus on their demeanor, their tone, right? I want you to peel back a layer and be like, okay, what is this person really trying to tell me, right? How can I connect with this person a little bit deeper emotionally, right? So they don't feel like I'm just, like I'm not listening to them, right? That's how you do it. Sit back and let the other person talk, right? There's a great book that I read. I didn't even finish it, but a great book is called How to Get Friends and Influence, or something like that. I have to look up the title again, but it's by Dale Carnegie, right? How to Make Friends and Influence, something like that. And he talked about that. He talked about how there was a person that he was talking to, right? Dale just sat there and he just kept on asking the person questions, and the person just kept on expanding and talking. And he's like, Dale, you know what? You actually are a great person to be around, right? You actually, you a cool guy. And then Dale, went right back in the book. He didn't say anything. He really didn't say anything. And they had a conversation for an hour long. You guys understand? Like, I'm never really like actually a great conversationalist. I've never been, right? So when I read that book and it just said, just keep on asking people about what they like to talk about. Just ask them about their desires and how they feel and like stuff like that. How did that make you feel? Like, what are some of your plans for your life? You will see that if you talk about what people are passionate about more, you'll have better conversations with people, and they'll feel like, they'll feel so much more connected to you, because a lot of people like to, even like myself, I like to word vomit, right? I like to express, right? So if someone's asking me good questions and I get to express myself in a way that's not judgmental, right, then I feel like that person is pretty cool to be around. So start being intentional with people and start being intentional with your goals, right? And don't, like, put down the phone, right? And when you're in the gym, put down the phone and really focus in on what you're doing. And then let that focus carry on into into your entire day, and watch how it changes your life. All right, YJR family, get that focus that you need. All right, get that focus, and then once you get that focus that you need, bro, you're gonna take off. I promise you.